Can't hear my fan.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for this fourth episode of Season 2 of Veiled Mysteries. As always, thank you for subscribing down below and hitting the bell notification in the description to be notified every time we are live. Tonight, we explore the unexplored, a region of the Sunshine State that leaves little to the imagination. The Florida Everglades, home to one of the only places where alligators, crocodiles, and panthers all coexist together naturally, is full of mystery and speculation that spans way before Florida even was recognized by the United States. From lost Confederate gold to the creatures that lurk into the shadows, few Floridians still even call this place home. Chief Veiled Mysteries correspondent and legal analyst Taylor Edwards is here to help break down and unravel the mysterious land of the Florida Everglades. Episode 4 of Veiled Mysteries begins right now.
The following program contains conspiracies and true crime from around the state of Florida that may not be suitable for all audiences. All personal opinions featured in this episode should not be taken as factual evidence. As always, viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of Veiled Mysteries. I'm here live with Taylor Edwards, Veiled Mysteries chief correspondent and legal analyst, to break down the Florida Everglades. Taylor, I know you're so excited for this episode.
Yes.
Because this whole thing is wild.
I am not a believer, but you know what? Here we are, and we're going to talk about some crazy things. We're going to talk about the Everglades today. We're also going to talk about the lost Confederate gold of the Everglades. We're going to touch on that a little bit, and then we're just going to kind of get crazy. We're going to talk about the skunk ape, and we're going to go into some more that I don't believe in, but we're going to talk more about like the Yeti, the Loch Ness Monster, the Jersey Devil, the Chupacabra. So stay tuned for all of that. It's going to be a wild ride tonight. So
we're going to go off on many tangents. It's going to be a really good episode. As always, our phone number is scrolling down at the bottom. It is 407-801-7204. Feel free to text your first name and where you're from. We'd love to hear your commentary. That's part of why we do this live, is we like to hear what you have to say while we are on air and talking about our topics. So Taylor, let's start off with one of the craziest ones.
Well, actually, I want to go into what the Everglades are for those who don't know, because I was not educated on it until we decided to do this episode. So for those who don't know, the Florida Everglades, it originally covered roughly 4,000 square miles of South Florida. And today it's less than half of the original ecosystem that remains intact due to like development, agriculture, and things like that. But the Everglades National Park alone protects about 1.5 million acres, making it the largest subtropical wilderness in the US. It also is the only place in the world where American alligators and American crocodiles naturally coexist. So that's a fun fact. Normally they live in two completely different water types. The alligator is freshwater marshes, where the crocodile is saltwater, like coastal areas. So the Everglades are so large that they're able to have both of these ecosystems for both alligators and crocodiles to live. So if you can just imagine that we can have a vast expanse of land where both of those species can live together, it truly is massive. There are towns that people no longer live in. So the Everglades take up a lot of space, a lot of acreage.
Yeah, and I think what's so interesting about it, I'm originally from New Jersey. I have some friends watching from home tonight. We have something very similar, not as crazy, but we have the Pine Barrens in like central South Jersey. It's a very large area mass, and that has its own legends we're going to be talking about this evening as well. But I think I'm so interested in this because of my lore with that. And when we get into the Jersey Devil, I'll talk about some of my experiences I've had in the Pine Barrens. But yeah, it's just such an interesting area. It's protected, right, Taylor?
Yes,
it's a protected
it is protected. Just because there are so many endangered animals that still live there. We have the Florida panther, American alligators and crocodiles, the wood stork, Everglades snail kite. There's more than 350 bird species, over 40 mammal species, dozens of reptiles, hundreds of fish, thousands of plant and animal species overall. So just to kind of protect the animals, plants, and try to preserve it as much as you can. I mean, granted, we have so many hurricanes and I'm sure it floods, but to try to protect it, it is protected. It is considered a national park.
Interesting. I'm just getting our phone line set up here.
I guess while we do that, we can touch on the lost Confederate gold of the Everglades, which I know, Brandon, that is something you really are kind of passionate about.
Yes.
That's something you really wanted to talk about tonight. So for those who don't know, in the final years of the Civil War, a Confederate paymaster was allegedly transporting a large shipment of gold through South Florida, and it is said that as the Union forces were advancing, the Confederates feared the gold would be captured, and he supposedly wrote a statement somewhere that says, "Chased by the enemy, we buried our payroll." And the treasure was said to include about $200,000, which I am assuming that's in like now. How much that would be like nowadays. $200,000 in gold coins and additional paper currency. It's buried at a location described as a camel's back, which it's this right here, this visual. So it's said to be on the west hump. And that's where it's located. However, again, the Everglades are so large that there are multiple of these camelback locations. No one's been able to find the gold. No one's been able to find this note that was allegedly written. So that's kind of like where the speculation is. But this is, and we had to kind of configure this image because there isn't an image of the camelbacks because no one has been able to find it.
I find it so interesting. Obviously, Florida was part of the Confederacy during the Civil War. Why they chose this area, I guess because it was so brush and uninhabited?
Well, they were also traveling. One of the theories, which it kind of merges with the first theory, but one of the theories is that a Confederate Captain, John Riley, was attempting to move the Confederate gold towards Cuba or Havana when federal forces pursued him into South Florida. So as they were advancing on him, which this is kind of where it's two different theories. One was the Union was forcing on them, and one was the federal forces. But that's kind of how he ended up in the Everglades because he was traveling south towards Cuba or Havana.
Neat.
Neat.
Do you do you believe that there is gold hidden in the Everglades?
This is something I think possibly could have happened.
Okay.
However, is it still there? The paper currency? No,
No way.
probably not. The gold coins, however, if it is still there, I don't think it's still like all there together unless it's buried in like a pirate treasure chest, which I doubt that's what it was in. But I think if it is still there, there's been so many different natural like disasters that have occurred and so much that has like transpired through the Everglades over time, because this was a long time ago, that the coins may just be floating around in there. Maybe the alligators got them. But, everyone needs some coin.
Right. Do you think the efforts to try and recover it are still like valid?
No, I think they're crazy. You'll probably hear that statement a lot from me. I don't know. If we, in the good year of our Lord 2026, had to have AI configure this camelback image because no one has been able to find it, why are we searching? It's clear we don't know where it's at. It's clear no one can find any type of anything of this area. Anything that looks remotely like this, unless you're up in a helicopter flying over to try to find it. Brandon, if we were just on one of those little marsh propeller boats going through, I would not know this looked like a camelback. It looks like trees.
Well, the Everglades is huge, so how many do you think have been explored? Oh, it looks like we have a caller ready to come in.
Wow.
Actually, Sean from Texas.
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and give Sean a call. Hopefully this connects in.
I'm sorry. You can't leave a message because...
Well,
We tried.
Sean, try calling back if
Try
you'd
calling
like.
back. We'll see if we can connect you in.
But yeah, I think that this theory, it kind of goes along with like pirates buried treasure.
Okay.
Like, do I believe it was buried at one point in time? Sure. Yes. Do I believe it's still there and people should still be looking for it? No. I think it's a waste of time. I think, if that's how you would like to spend your time, if this is like your passion, sure. Go for it. Good for you. However, the amount of time it would probably take to travel through these marshes. Where are you staying? There's no houses, there's no hotels, there's no towns. Sleeping on a boat with the alligators, sleeping in a tent with this supposed skunk ape we're going to talk about is crazy work.
You are so passionate about this. I am a big fan of how passionate you are about this.
I don't know if I'd call it passion.
Oh, we have Sean calling back.
Perfect.
Let's see if we can get Sean in. Hello, Sean. Thank you for calling Veiled Mysteries.
Hello.
Hi, Sean.
Hello. So I disagree with Taylor.
Okay.
I think there's a high probability that there is possibility of buried treasure in the Everglades. I think that with the there's a lot of programs where there are treasure hunters that go out and they find these old maps and they find treasure all over of people hiding stuff. And the Confederates, there is lots of legends where the Confederates hid their war chest money and all of that they had. And what better place to hide it than somewhere down in the Florida Everglades, where it would be very difficult to navigate if you didn't know the area.
So do you think
It would be very difficult for somebody to find.
do you think it was all like buried together in a chest? Then, or do
Not
you think
necessarily.
so do you think it's all still
Not
like together intact?
Well, you look at the stuff that they find, that they unearth all the time, and when they find ancient Roman hoards, they find stuff in Greece, and they uncover things as simple as pottery, and somebody's digging, and the pottery breaks open, and it's full of coins, full of gold.
I think
And
the trouble I have is I agree with you. What better place to bury it than the Everglades? I do agree with that. However, is it probable that, like, if I were to bury it there, is it probable that I would be able to go back and find it? Because everything looks the same. Everything, like, how do you know where to go back to? So you buried
Well,
it, but
that's
is
the
it
whole
probable
thing.
you can go back?
but that's the whole purpose of hiding it. Like you saying that they hid it on the camel's back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole purpose of it. If it was very obvious for you to find it, anybody would be able to find it. And
But wouldn't you
so
want it back?
they use specific landmarks when you do stuff. They go to a certain place in the Everglades. Go to this particular, spot, and then look off into the horizon, and you have to be standing in this particular spot in order to see the hills just right in order for them to look like a camel's back.
Yeah,
Now, I
guess.
would say with the invention of the drone that more people than ever are probably looking around and searching for that stuff. But
I agree with that. I think that is a good way to try to find it. So I do agree with that. The drones are definitely a piece of technology that would be great for this endeavor. I don't know, maybe someone will get lucky
But-
one day and get a bunch of gold and make it big.
But do I think it's probable that somebody could have buried something? Sure, because when the Union surrendered, when the South surrendered, they didn't hand over a war chest of money to the Union.
Mm-hmm.
You
So
know,
it went somewhere.
where did it go? And and you had to have something because they had to clothe all the soldiers, they had to feed all the soldiers. They were going through towns and
Yeah.
taking people's possessions and all of that and melting them down or whatever. So I think it's probable, but will somebody find it? Maybe one day.
Yeah.
But I think it's very probable that could have happened, and you could find it if you had the right coordinates or right map to look.
I agree. So I don't know, maybe we'll keep getting technology that will help and someone will get lucky.
All right. Well, I'll wait for one of the next topics that comes up that I'm interested in, and I may call back.
I'm sure
Perfect.
I'm sure we have some you will be interested in.
Yeah, thank you so
All
much for
right.
calling.
All right, bye.
Okay, we have a text from Shelby from Huntsville, Texas. She said, we have found lost Spanish Armada ships and such as well from around Florida.
That is, yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's not impossible.
So we also have a text from Jason from Houston, Texas. I know a fictional story, but good example of what would be the premise of a National Treasure film.
Yeah. Where is Nicolas Cage?
Maybe it's something where they haven't found the right clue yet, just to find it, just a theory.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
I'm sure somewhere in the world someone has something that they just don't know what it is. They don't know what it means, and it may lead to this gold.
Yeah. I think, even if it's not real, I think this is such American lore. We have hidden things all over the country. There's gold here, there's tunnels here, like that's kind of part of our like lore and culture, and storytelling throughout the United States. So I think even if it's not real, it is an interesting thing to kind of like mill over and kind of think is real, for sure.
So, speaking of thinking things that are real, we're, we're gonna get into my favorite segment. This will probably last the rest of the podcast. Honestly, there's so many tangents and we have so many different legends to like kind of go through, which I'm excited to hear other people's thoughts. I'm gonna have a very unpopular opinion. I'll throw that out there right now. You will most likely hear the phrase, "No, that's crazy," several times. But we're going to start talking about creatures. So the first one we'll talk about actually is from the Everglades, which is where this is kind of stemming from. He is called the skunk ape. It is known as Florida's Bigfoot. So this right here, allegedly, I can't take it seriously. Allegedly, he is about 6 to 8 feet tall, covered in reddish brown fur, hair, as you can see, extremely foul smelling, which is where we get the skunk part of the name, and he walks upright like a human. So back in 2000, this kind of became famous when a woman in Florida submitted some photos, which it's not this one. I don't quite know what the photo would have been. What I'm imagining in my head, I'm sure is not it. Claiming that the skunk ape was in her backyard stealing apples. So that's crazy. I think this picture right here that we just showed it's not the times of AI. See, this is where it gets kind of, I'm not confusing, but could be seen as real, because a lot of these legends and folklore happened so long ago that any photos or videos that were captured, it's not AI. Nowadays, if I were to see a photo and someone been like, "Oh my God, look, it's a skunk ape," AI immediately.
Right.
Like, fake. Immediate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we know that there are people that go through the Everglades to find the gold. They go through to say they've been through it. They go through to try to find this skunk ape. We can't see him. He's 6 to 8 feet tall. He looks like he doesn't belong. In the animals I named earlier, there are no gorillas. There are no apes. Not unless you're at the Walt Disney World Animal Kingdom or you're at the zoo. So how are we not seeing this? I feel like we would have more footage. Brandon?
I am going to yield to my other statement. I think it's funny. This is one of like those legends that we have throughout the United States that like we don't really have confirmation of, but people get really into the lore of. I do think there are weird things in the Everglades. Do I think there's necessarily what we're calling this ape man thing? No, but I definitely think there is potential for creatures that are not identified by science or by general people. But I don't agree that this is one of them.
Yeah. Along with him, we will go on to his cousin, Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, which this one's really popular. People love Bigfoot. So this is in the Pacific Northwest, Canada, and like pretty much throughout North America areas. This guy is about 6 to 10 feet tall, about 500 to 1,000 pounds, covered in dark brown, black, or reddish hair, human-like face, walks upright, extremely strong, often emits a foul odor. A human-like face on a body that is covered in dark brown, black, or reddish hair. Maybe he didn't shave. I don't know. Sure, it's fun to think about. but I can't, my mind can't picture anything other than like a cartoon or something like a crazy photo, like someone dressed up. So that's where I have trouble, is because I can't comprehend it. My brain physically will not.
So, okay, I have a question then for you. So, where do you think this all comes from? Like I said, in America, even in other countries, we love lore, we love storytelling, we love kind of coming up with these things. Where do you think this came from? Do you think this was like people came up with this to scare people out of the woods? Like, where do you think this stemmed from?
I think it stems from this one specifically. So a few that we'll talk about actually have like folklore legends connected to it. This one specifically, I think it stems from someone saw an animal distant, like that they weren't expecting to see. Maybe it was larger than they think, and they freaked out. I mean, I would too if I saw a gorilla in the woods and he was way larger than I was expecting. Or actually, I'd just freak out if I saw him in general. I don't want him that close to me. Why are we that close? Same thing with a bear. I think that's what it is. So actually, the Bigfoot craze started in 1958. There was a gentleman, his name was Jerry Crew, and he found enormous footprints near Bluff Creek, California. However, years later, which how they found the truth of this out, I'm not sure, but years later, another gentleman named Ray Wallace was accused of creating some of the prints as a hoax by using giant wooden feet. So I don't know if they knew each other. I don't know if he just thought it would be a fun joke. However, to date, there have been thousands of footprint casts that have been taken, and some researchers think that they are so detailed that it is difficult for them to say that it's fake. But I don't know. I think...
So, okay, so where do you think these footprints are coming from? Do you think people are making them?
Yeah, I think they're taking something and running with it. I think we don't understand what a footprint may look like. Maybe the bear was dragging his feet trying to get something from the tree, and it made a bigger footprint. I don't know. I think that people see something that they don't perceive as normal, and they're not used to seeing, and they run with it. And it creates mass hysteria in a craze. And then it's in your newspaper. People are talking about it. I don't know. I think that's where it stems from, is gossip. People love the tea, and as you talk, it's like a big game of telephone.
So do you think Bigfoot was like the start, and then it stemmed to this skunk ape and like the other related things that we have?
I think definitely the skunk ape. Sean just said that he's been to the Bigfoot Museum. Lots of drinking, merchandising. People pay big money for souvenirs. Totally fake. I agree. But I think that it's such a fascination. But I do think, especially the skunk ape, this stemmed from that. I know people agree with me on this. Florida people are crazy. Florida people want their own stories out there. They want to discover something crazy just to be crazy. And I think that's where the skunk ape came in.
Okay. So you think the skunk ape is a copycat of...
Oh, yeah, it's his cousin.
Okay.
Yeah. If this guy's real, the other one's real. Come for me. Come get me. I need a photo with you.
Okay.
We do have... I think, Brandon, you were able to find it, the Patterson-Gimlin film.
Yes.
So this is kind of the centerpiece of the whole Bigfoot, like, mystery, where it kind of got famous. So on October 20th, 1967, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin were horseback riding near Bluff Creek, California. They claimed they encountered this large, hairy creature, and Patterson filmed it for about 1 minute. The creature looks at him briefly and walks away, walks like a human, looks like a gorilla. Looks like a man in a suit.
And you think this is a person in a suit?
Look at him. Look at him. Yes. Look at him.
Yeah.
He said, I know people come on this route. Let me go.
So what do you think? You think this was just to stir more?
He doesn't even look like he's 8 to 10 feet tall. He looks maybe 6 foot, maybe 2. I think this is crazy. There are also reports of people hearing rocks clanging.
I have that audio for you whenever you're ready.
Go ahead and play that. They're called the Sierra Sounds.
Rain for a night.
And this is one of the most famous recordings from the 1970s.
Should be playing.
Rain for a night, Vito.
That sounds like a marsupial to me.
Do they not think other people don't camp the same as them? They think they're the only ones in the woods? Maybe they're having a party. Those sounds right there, Brandon, they remind me of when I was younger, and I have a younger brother. He's 3 years younger than me, and we would go places and he would make crazy sounds like that. That is what it reminds me of.
Okay.
Someone just making these crazy sounds. I can't believe it. Like, you're not real. You're fake. Fake fans only. Sean said the people at the Bigfoot Museum in Oregon totally believe there are Bigfoots all over the country. The audio sounds like a howler monkey. Yeah, I don't know. I think people find something and run with it. They went there, maybe they were camping and they knew Bigfoot was supposedly in this area at night. Maybe they're telling scary stories around the campfire. Let me tell you, whenever you're somewhere that's out of the norm, your ears perk up. I've never been camping. I can't say that it happens during camping, but like if I'm staying somewhere that I'm not used to, I am listening for every little sound. Same thing. Brandon, do you want me to go outside and clap some rocks together? Will make me a living legend.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So that's that one. Now we're going to talk about one. Brandon, this one's more your territory. However, this one not real. Not in the slightest is it real. The Jersey Devil. It looks like a pygmy goat. That's what it looks like.
Well, I feel like this illustration is a little bit more accurate. This is one that apparently was taken
a pygmy goat that was tossed in the sky on a trampoline,
with
perhaps.
a set of butterfly wings on it for Halloween. This is what I feel like I grew up seeing, and what people talk about in New Jersey is this image, something similar to this. This
guy, do you know the legend behind him? Like, do you know how it came to be?
Not really.
Okay, let me tell you, because when I tell you, you're gonna, if this doesn't make you not believe in this thing, this will. So, the legend dates to around 1735. Oh, Sean said maybe they took too much LSD. I agree. Dates to 1735. So this is definitely folklore, legends that have been passed down generation through generation. Again, a big game of telephone. Scary stories in the dark. So, a woman known as Mother Leeds supposedly became pregnant with her 13th child, and she was frustrated and exclaimed, "Let this one be the devil." I'm not quite sure what the significance was. I don't know why she was so upset about it. Maybe because she had so many children, maybe because it was unlucky number 13. I'm not sure. But the baby was supposedly born normal, and then this is where it goes off the rails. It transformed into a winged monster and flew up the chimney.
Okay, now that you're saying this, I kind of remember this story a little bit.
I don't understand.
Okay, well let me delve into this a little bit. Let me talk
Please.
about the Pine Barrens a little bit.
Okay.
So the Pine Barrens in New Jersey is similar to the Everglades. It's a protected area of forest and wildlife. There's a couple things that you can see, like Batstow Village. Anyone from New Jersey, if you're familiar with that, it's kind of like an old settlement that is no longer inhabited, and it's kind of just like a tourist attraction now. There's weird things that go on in the Pine Barrens. I have camped several times in the Pine Barrens, and I can tell you, I've heard weird stuff. It's definitely unsettling, but it kind of ties in with like the Appalachian Mountains, kind of the same idea. I think we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. But there's just like weird things. There's weird energy, and it's just one of those like lore pieces, like, for example, one time my friend Allison, I don't know if she's watching, she got a truck and we decided that we were going to truck through part of the Pine Barrens. And there was a portion where we just stopped. We were maybe 10, 15 miles into this driving trail. It's just a one-way driving trail. And we got out of the car and there was nothing. There was no sound. There was nothing. And it was just very odd. If I had 13 kids, that's a good one.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's just a very odd place to see and like exist. So yeah, I think weird stuff goes on. I don't know if the Jersey Devil's real,
It's not.
but I think it's an interesting lore piece for New Jersey, because let me be honest, there's not a whole lot going in New Jersey anyway. So
I think going back to you saying that you camped there and heard some unsettling sounds.
yes.
I think this goes back to you were hearing something you wanted to hear. You were hoping to hear something. You were hoping, and you heard something.
No, I do think there's weird things that happen there. I think there's a lot of like different. I don't want to get too into it because we're going to stray far away from Florida. But
we're going across the world. So go ahead.
But there is rumors of cults meeting in the woods and sacrificing in the woods, things like that. But yeah, there's weird sounds in the woods. I think anyone from anywhere in the Appalachian region can attest to that there's weird sounds and weird happenings. I think, did you touch on any of that lore by chance for
What?
the Appalachian
I don't
Mountains?
think I don't think that's in there,
Okay.
which is crazy. But that I don't think is one of the ones that I did. I will say in 1909 there was a panic in New Jersey, and this is what really made your buddy, the Jersey Devil, famous, your friend. For about a week, hundreds of people reported sightings. They closed schools, shut down factories, armed police searched the woods. They investigated all of the reports. Again, mass hysteria, fueled by newspapers and public excitement. That's it.
That's good.
There's my clinking rock.
Let's take a look at the picture one more time.
The pygmy goat with the unicorn ears.
Yeah. And then I think I have one more. Yeah, this one.
That one definitely is scary. That one, not real.
Yeah.
He looks like he jumps on a trampoline. I'm just saying.
Okay.
So now we're going to travel south. We're going to kind of go out of the United States now. We're going to Puerto Rico and Latin America. I love this little guy. I don't think it's actually what it is. I think it's maybe a rabid dog. I don't love this version of him. There's another version. The chupacabra. Maybe I just like saying it. But I love this guy. Apparently, he attacks livestock and drinks their blood. This is one, Brandon, that I think could be real. Do I think it's something that looks like this? No. This picture right here is the original Puerto Rican version. He was described as reptilian, which this one looks more wolfish. Spikes down its back, large red eyes, alien-like appearance. They did call them the goat suckers, because I think maybe they particularly liked goat's blood. So the legend began in Puerto Rico in 1995. Farmers reported dead goats, dead chickens, strange wounds. I do think this one is believable because there are animals out there that kill livestock, and it's not always just cut and dry. So I do think the American Southwest version, can you pull them up?
Yes.
This is the one that I think looks well, okay, let me rephrase. Not this crazy version, but this version is described as a hairless dog-like creature, gray skin, mangy appearance. That to me screams rabid dog, rabid coyote, rabid wolf, which could kill livestock. I don't know. These look like the things out of nightmares. But if I believe in any of them, it'll be the chupacabra.
This one particular.
No,
or just in general.
In general, but I like the look of the other guy. Ooh, Michael Edwards said a rabid human.
That's
that could also be
interesting take.
Could also be true.
That's interesting.
But I think this one's the most likely to be not necessarily like a crazy creature, but something that actually did happen was real. Whereas the other ones are, oh, I saw this. And then there's no footage.
So do you think with this one image, let me pull it up again. So this one image, do you think it walks around like that? Like on two legs?
No.
You think it's a four-legged animal?
Yeah.
Similar to
kind of
this
like
one?
that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think if you merge the two together. Yeah, I think this Jersey 2 MN, he likes the version I like as well.
That may be Allison. Allison might have joined the chat.
Yeah, I think I also like the chupacabra because Sean said, and like I grew up learning about the chupacabra, like hearing about it, and Sean even said in the chat, he's very popular in Texas. So I think maybe that's why I like him, because I grew up learning about him and hearing about it. But in my mind, he's just a hairless dog that is malnourished.
Shelby from Huntsville, Texas said maybe the goat is sort of like a Salem witch trials, and they ate the same rye bread that was laced with the hallucinogenic fungi.
Listen. Oh, that is Allison. Hello, Allison.
Oh, perfect.
So next we can go into the Yeti, the abominable snowman.
We
from
are
the Himalayan mountains.
We're going quite far from the great state of Florida, but
Yep.
we're all talking about mythical creatures.
So this one, large, hairy, walks on two legs, white, gray. I've never seen one with reddish fur. A picture of one. I said a description to Brandon earlier. I think this could be a possibility. Some people may have been hiking, camping, climbing the mountain, and they saw someone who maybe got caught in a downstorm of snow, maybe had some frostbite, his hair was kind of frosted over. and he was kind of just like moving about.
Well, here's the thing. How tall do they make this man to be? The abominable snowman.
Actually, yeah, Suzanne said it's just a white version of Bigfoot, and I agree.
Okay.
Let me see. Oh, that's not what I wanted there. Here we go. Okay, let's see. The Yeti supposedly is about 6 to 8 feet tall. So yeah, a 6-foot man. Maybe he got trapped in the snow. Maybe he was hungry, walking around. He's lost. I don't know. This is another one where it's not real to me.
You just can't get behind it.
No, I can't. Look at that. You're going to tell me if you see that, your first thing is, let me take a photo? No. My first thing is, we've got to go. Michael said, I always heard it was like a polar bear with mad cow disease.
Okay.
But, for bears, and was walking on his hind legs and people saw it. I will say, they did do, which this is even crazier, DNA testing. And it came back matched with bears, yaks, and horses. So, I don't know. Supposedly, in 1951, an explorer, Eric Shipton, photographed enormous footprints in the Himalayas. And that became the most famous photos, and that's where all of this kind of stemmed from and went crazy.
And you think this is people creating these?
I think he just saw a big footprint in the snow. People have big feet, Brandon. Also, if you step and then you kind of like shift forward without picking up your foot, in the snow, I'm not worrying about picking up my feet necessarily if I'm tired. Climbing a mountain in the snow, never done it, never want to do it, won't do it. But I imagine your little legs will start hurting. So it's going to get harder and harder to lift up your feet out of the snow. You're going to drag them.
Fair.
A big foot in the snow.
Good.
Catch my drift?
Good. If you're just joining us, we're talking about mythical creatures. We're starting to snowball, pun intended there, on to some other mythical creatures. But as you can see at the bottom of your screen, our phone number is scrolling. It is 407-801-7204. Feel free to text us your first name and where you're from. Let us know that you want to be on, and we'd love to hear your comments about what we're talking about.
Shelby brought up a good point and said oxygen deprivation from climbing a mountain would make people see things. Correct. Lack of water because probably frozen. And then Jackie said, doesn't he live at the Walt Disney World Animal Kingdom?
Listen, we don't talk about the Joe Rohde Yeti.
That was a very big point. Brandon refused
beef.
to find him.
I got beef with Betty. We call, for background people that don't know, the Yeti over at Disney's Animal Kingdom inside the Expedition Everest ride is lovingly called Betty the Yeti. Me and Betty got beef, so...
And Betty sometimes doesn't want to come out. She doesn't want to be found.
No.
Kind of like the real one.
That's not real, though.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Okay. The last one that I have to kind of like, which I think we can go deep into this one. The Loch Ness Monster, Nessie. From Loch Ness, Scotland, the Bronchiosaurus in the water.
Sorry. We're having a technical issue. We're good now.
It's a dinosaur. In the water. A Bronchiosaurus. Can you please pull one of them up?
This one?
No, can you actually pull up a picture of a Bronchiosaurus?
Oh, yes. Let me get that for you.
So we see that picture right there. Now we're going to find the actual dinosaur. Twins. And one of the earliest accounts dates back to the 6th century. There could have been dinosaurs roaming the earth then. They may not have all been extinct.
Okay, here, actually, this is a really good one. This is a Bronchiosaurus with a person standing next to them.
That is the Loch Ness Monster. That is a Bronchiosaurus. Yes. 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 That is it, the Loch Ness Monster. The beginnings, it dates back to the 6th century. I assume, I mean, I don't believe in it, but yes, Michael, I assume it's the Loch Ness Monster that's still around today. Saint Columba allegedly encountered a strange beast near the River Ness, and that's where we got this guy. In 1934, there was a famous photograph. It's called the surgeon's photograph. Is that this?
It might be this one. Because this is a historical photograph, I do
Okay.
know.
It appeared to show a long-necked creature rising from the water. For decades, this was considered the best evidence, but it was revealed to be a hoax involving a small model. It almost always goes back to a hoax. But people love this mystery because the lake is deep, dark, cold, huge. Visibility is extremely poor. And there are many things in the water that could
We have
make it
have a
safe.
potential story from Shelby from Huntsville, Texas. So
Call
we're gonna
in Shelby.
we're gonna give her a call and see.
Or we can call you.
Yeah, we're gonna give her a call and see.
Goodness.
Hello.
Hello, Shelby.
Thank you for texting in.
So I actually finished high school in Scotland, and we used to take my family up to see the loch all the time because we lived about 45 minutes from there, and we would frequently take one of the Loch Ness boat cruises around. And every boat I've ever been on had this picture that was not the one that's been disproven. It was like these two little black lumps in the water. And I was a teenager, mind you. So I'm sitting in the back of the boat, just not really paying attention because I've done the ride a bunch of times. And I look out over the water and I see these two little black lumps and I started freaking out. And mind you, the boat's very small. I'm standing up, I'm jumping, everybody comes out of the cabin area because it's cold. And about that time, the duck lifts its head out of the water.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. This is it. Now, Shelby, how you mistake
duck.
this creature for a duck, I'm not quite...
Well, the picture they put on the boats is literally just two little black lumps in the water. It's not like the serpentine snake picture.
Got it.
So they're that one's fake. Don't believe that one. This is what it really looks like. This is all we've ever seen.
I just can't get behind it. I can't.
Mind you, I was 15 at the time, so I was oh my God, I see.
Yeah.
But thank you for taking my call.
Yeah,
Of course.
thanks for
Thank you for
sharing.
calling in.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. I will say, for as famous as this thing is, Brandon, does it have gills? Is that why it doesn't come up? I just thought about that.
Okay.
Because if people haven't seen it, does it have gills? When does it come up for air?
Well, let's look at the dinosaur.
He doesn't have gills.
No, he doesn't have gills.
Mike Edwards says the Loch Ness has been scanned with sonar multiple times over the years and nothing has been found conclusive. Yeah, my grandmother brings up a good point. I don't know if she quite meant it like this, but this is how I'm taking it. This is like the tooth fairy, not real. Not real. So, thanks, Mimo, because I don't know if that's how you meant it, but that's how I took it.
That's good. That's really good.
But yeah, they've tried multiple times. They've done sonar sweeps, they've done underwater photography, they've tried DNA studies, and there's no evidence. They can't find anything, but this is such a popular, folklore legend. I've been to Scotland a few times, and almost everywhere you can find some keychain, something about this monster. And all of the DNA came back to fish, birds, and mammals. Oh, or a large eel.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Sean said maybe he was in another part of the loch when they scanned it. He knew. He said, they're coming for me. I've got to go.
God.
But I mean, is this the same one from the 6th century? Because if not, you have to have at least 2 to breed.
And there's only apparently the one.
Yeah.
So
No one's ever seen or heard of more than one at a time. Do they lay eggs?
these are good questions, Taylor.
You have to think about the water one is crazy. Does he have gills? Does he lay eggs? Where's the second one? Allison, good point. Maybe he's an introvert.
Maybe.
But you can't have babies as an introvert with only yourself. It doesn't work that way.
Well, fish do.
So he's a fish now. Fish genetics?
Is there any lore? Okay, just to kind of glaze over all of the ones that we've talked about. Is there any lore that you believe?
The chupacabra, I think, is the only one that I can get behind, but I don't think it's an actual chupacabra. I think it may just be like a rabid animal that is super malnourished.
Okay. Well, there's one thing that we started to touch on before we went on that I want to go back to a little bit with Bigfoot and how he uses portals to get around. If you want to touch on that a little bit.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yes. So there is, let me get back up to my Bigfoot notes here. There we go. Okay, so there is a theory about Bigfoot, the Sasquatch. Sean said maybe the Loch Ness breeds through photosynthesis.
That's another good one.
That would mean you have to come out of the water to get some sunlight. And we don't see him. But back to the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call him. There is a theory, they call it like the paranormal Bigfoot. So some believers claim that he can disappear, teleport, use portals, and communicate telepathically. Let's ignore that one. But I want to focus on using portals because we did an episode back in season 1, the United States of Missing Persons, and we kind of touched on a little bit portals. This is something that you really like to talk about, Brandon. So go ahead.
I think it's so interesting that they even brought up portals here. There was a story, if I'm recalling it correctly, of one of the in the episode where we were talking about the United States of Missing Persons, we were talking about how people kind of just vanish and then their belongings kind of show up in a place where they originally looked. And it's particularly, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but they had searched this area 5 times over. Weather was coming into the area, and they came back after the weather had passed, and they found his boots perfectly dry next to a creek. And there was like a thermos full of water that looked like it had just been poured, things like that, where it kind of felt like he was just there, but he hadn't been there, obviously, because they had checked 5 times over that same location. So I think it's interesting that they kind of talk about portals, because this kind of even ties back to the Pine Barrens in New Jersey, that the woods hold secrets and veil the reality of the living and the dead, which kind of ties back into that cults and Native American kind of spiritual being a little bit there too.
Allison said, what if Bigfoot pops out of the portal and takes the missing hikers?
That's crazy.
You know what I just thought about? What do these things eat?
Looks like Christian texted, and he said if he used portals, he would go somewhere interesting like Hawaii.
Could you imagine? But I mean, what do these things eat? Because with these legends, at least with the research I did, which, granted, it wasn't a lot, but with the research I did, nothing talks about, except for the chupacabra, what these things eat, which isn't necessarily important, but there isn't ever a note of one of the theories or evidence, if you will, being of large amounts of animals going missing or large carcasses being found. What are you eating? The apples from the backyard.
The apples. Just the apples.
The apples. So it's, I don't know, a lot. I can't wrap my head around this. This is crazy. My dad said Haven't you seen the commercials? They eat Slim Jims. Oh, Sean, that's funny. That's great. That's funny.
They eat whatever they want. They're huge.
Yeah,
Me
guess.
too. Sorry.
I don't know, Brandon. This was a crazy episode for me.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's crazy.
Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
No.
No.
I personally would not like to visit the Everglades, but that's strictly because I don't want to have to be stuck in the marshes with alligators, crocodiles, snakes. I don't want anything like that. I don't believe if I went to any of these places, I would find any of these legends. Granted, maybe that's me putting it in the universe. That's why I'm going to go. So, I don't know. It was a fun episode, though. It was fun to kind of talk about this and hear some other conspiracies and some good stories. So, it was a lot of fun. This was a good episode.
Yeah, we did have a lot of fun with this episode. I to kind of piggyback off of what you said, I think I would love to go to the Everglades. I would love to just see it.
I would see it from above. I'll take a helicopter.
From above. I want to see it. My 2026 New Year's resolution is to see more of Florida. I'd love to do it before the end of the year. But definitely interesting stories, interesting things to think about. And maybe they even hide, the Florida man hides there, maybe that's another legend in the Everglades.
He is real. He's just crazy.
Well, thank you, Taylor, for having so much fun with me on this episode. Of course.
So fun.
And thank you, of course, for spending some of your evening here with us tonight. Next week, Taylor and I will be trying to answer the unanswered question of the 2006 missing persons case of Jennifer Kesse. The morning of January 24th, 2006 was like any other day in Central Florida. It wasn't until the 24-year-old Jennifer Kesse didn't show up for work that morning that it began to spiral into a nightmare that has gone unsolved for the past 20 years. We look forward to sharing more with you next Monday at 8 p.m. Veiled Mysteries is live every Monday at 8 p.m. in the East, 7 p.m. in the Mid-Region, and 6 p.m. in the West. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Veiled Mysteries Pod for updates and to stay in touch. If you have a true crime case or a conspiracy theory you'd like to see us cover, feel free to email or message me at veiledmysterytips@gmail.com. As always, ask questions, stay curious, and be informed. I'm Brennan Ward. Have a good night.